Good morning everyone. In this video I'm going to analyze the live price action for EU and DXY to see what opportunities are available today. In this video you're going to see my strategy and my analysis, so if you're interested in those then please stick around. Right, so just a quick warning ahead of analysis. This Friday 21st of June we have loads of news announcements, red folders. We've just had one, so French flash manufacturing PMI, which was bad for Euro. And then we have another one in 15 minutes and another one in half an hour after that. So our morning's fairly busy. We may or may not get any entries for any opportunities. And then we have some more PMI later on for the MY session. So starting from the daily, what does the daily show us? Well, yesterday we had a massive bearish engulfing day and a big bullish candle on our inverse on DXY. So we appear to be continuing the trend after this short pullback. 2 days of possible deceleration there. You know, they've come back to somewhat of a premium or a lower time frame POI, and then we continued bearish yesterday. Right, same on the inverse on DXY. Today so far we've been bearish. You can see we've come up bullish maybe in the evening yesterday, overnight, maybe mitigated something, and then continued bearish today. News announcement just came out which just gave that a bit more bearish momentum as well. So we've already taken previous daily low and previous daily high, buy side and sell side liquidity. Okay, so just above price on DXY, you can see we've got our previous weekly high as a sort of, you know, major high source of buy side liquidity, and then we've got our previous weekly low on EU as well, which is much further. So we may see some divergence today possibly once we take these highs on DXY if that happens. So we'll see what we can expect from that. So let's go down to the 4 hour, see what that shows us. So here on the 4 hour, we're within our bearish leg. We pulled back correctively up into the equilibrium point. Now, since yesterday, of course, we've been breaking down bearish from that point. So this liquidity trend line here, we've got sell side liquidity, sell side liquidity, sell side liquidity beneath these obvious lows here, and then ultimately the previous weekly low. Right, from this corrective price action, we took some buy side liquidity, and now it seems like we're seeking out that sell side liquidity below these lows. It's the same on DXY, buy side liquidity, buy side liquidity, buy side liquidity, then ultimately the buy side liquidity at this possible week high for the previous weekly high, and this week low obviously for the previous weekly low. Now price obviously did still leave behind a marginal gap here to close, so we'll see if price decides to close that, you know, before or after. We may take the previous weekly low and still come back into this leg, but that doesn't concern me so far. So we look to be heading bearish, right? So we're favoring some bearish momentum clearly. Previous daily low, sell side liquidity doesn't seem to be reversing price. Ignore this somewhat, of course we're above this previous daily high. This is not live. 4 hour candle of course isn't closed out yet, but we've been bearish for the time being. We do have a small imbalance above here, which could eventually draw in price. Okay, so just things to be aware of. So I don't think there's loads to show on the 4 hour. Of course, just we have some areas where price may still be pulled back to, right? But other than that, it seems like we're seeking sell side liquidity below this trend line and ultimately the previous weekly low. So let's go down to the 1 hour, see if that gives us anything in more detail. So on the hourly, as we can see, that previous bullish leg we was working within has now been broken. That low has been taken there. So let me remove those, but keep that in mind, right? We've broken down this low because we failed to take this high, became a weak low, took out that low. We broke down yesterday into overnight, and then during Asia and this morning, of course, we've pulled up, filling this 1 hour imbalance into the order block, and then from there we have broken down bearish. Once this closes out, especially, I'll probably mark this out as the new bearish leg. I've marked this out as the next sell side liquidity target below this low here, this obvious sell side liquidity low from the previous structural low. So mitigated a POI, broke down this morning. We've left behind soon anyway, as long as we close out an imbalance, right? So price may seek out that imbalance or more of a premium of this possible new leg before we head further, but it may not. So that's something to look out for some resistance POIs, possibly using the 1 hour to go short from. We're clearly in a bearish structure now, and we're, as I said, heading for some sell side liquidity lows. You can see now on the 1 hour on DXY, it's updating. It's also creating that new bullish leg here, and we have the previous weekly high close by. I believe if we do come for this low here, we may also have already taken the previous weekly high. So it may be a good point to look at for even counter trend positions to go long from, because sell side liquidity, major buy side liquidity, and if the structure comes into the market on a lower time frame, there's no reason why not to trade that long counter trend, right, up into more of a premium of our leg here. So I do see both ways. Obviously for the time being, I'd say we're definitely bearish with that bearish structure and bearish momentum. We would be looking for shorts around these areas, but of course we may also be able to get longs from our sell side liquidity and buy side liquidity points on DXY. Not much else to go for on the hourly. Let's go down to the M15 and see what opportunities may be available for today. Right, so on the M15, nothing immediate to take action on in my opinion. Of course we have this M15 leg sort of being created, and will be a 1 hour leg as well. Right, we have this being created at the moment, so we're in the discount of this new bearish leg. What I would be looking for if I want to short this, of course, would be something up here in the premium. So for example, this M15 order block around here, but also we have this M15 order block from yesterday above price, which we did not tap into. Obviously we respected this 1 hour order block and imbalance here, and from there, when I think Frankfurt swept that Asia high this morning, we'd see that more on the M5. Let's just quickly check that. Yeah, so Asia ended, Frankfurt just about swept Asia's highs, and then we got our bearish momentum from there. We had our Asia cycle broke down. I would love this to close preferably as bearish as possible rather than that sweeping action, because then DXY will probably look very much like a sweep after this previous daily high. So as bearish as possible, close out here would be great. We've got our M15 order block here and here. Some sort of corrective pullback up into this M15 order block may look decent to continue down. Right, we've already got our break of structure around here on the M15. As long as, you know, especially if this holds, I'll prefer it to just be as bearish as possible, so the break of structure looks very clear. We've got another news announcement, so can't tell exactly what that's about to do to price in the next few minutes. Pull back to this M15 area. Now the main negative for me for this M15 order block is that we have one above that was unmitigated, and this could serve as inducement. So let me finish annotating this one. We would have our possible inducement around here during this pullback. M15 order block here, stop loss just above the highs from this order, aiming for the low or the next point of liquidity. So this is what I would be looking for. Break of structure here, which is already done. Pull back into a premium of this leg, possible inducement, 15-minute order block, and then boom, down. Okay, news has come out. We've already taken this liquidity point. However, of course, that could still play out. It could still pull back to this premium here, as the same with this leg here, above this 15-minute order block here, if it uses this as inducement. But I think with this nice, strong, bearish price action, it may just respect here. So today's a very difficult one to trade. I think now we've taken this sell side liquidity, and now we've taken this previous weekly high buy side liquidity. Preferably now we could look for some longs if the structure goes that way. I understand after news it may just go long anyway, but I would prefer if we got some structure here, right, for price to break, and then we can get our maybe corrective pullback down to the lower time frame order block imbalance to trade back up towards a premium of this new leg. So just something like this, where price finds its feet, finds some support, breaks its structure above here, possible inducement during a pullback around here, imbalance order block on a lower time frame here, and then set our orders to go long, right? So Stop loss just below the low. Alright, because we've got our divergence now. We've got our bearish leg, we're in a discount. We've taken sell side liquidity, buy side liquidity as well. And this could definitely play out. So that's all for today. It's not easy trading during these times of red folder news announcements, so it's best to be patient and wait for that break in between. So I hope you gained value from that. Any questions, let me know in the comments. Remember to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys soon.